I ruined my boss's life after he tried to ruin mine. True revenge story. I never thought I would be the kind of person who carried revenge in my chest like a slow fire. But when a man takes your livelihood, your reputation, and your dignity, you either lie down and let him win, or you rise up and fight in a way he never sees coming. My boss tried to destroy me. He thought he could bury me quietly, move on, and never look back. But he underestimated how patient I could be, how careful, and how willing I was to play the long game. I worked for him for almost 7 years. At first, he seemed like a mentor, someone who recognized my hard work. He smiled when I stayed late, praised me when I solved problems others couldn't, and told me he saw leadership in me. I believed him. I gave that company everything I had. Early mornings, late nights, weekends. I sacrificed friendships and relationships because I thought the payoff would be worth it. But everything changed when a promotion opened up. I was the obvious choice. My track record spoke for itself. My projects brought in the most profit. My clients renewed contracts because of me. I had trained half the team, yet when the announcement came, the position went to someone else, someone who had been there barely 2 years, someone who just happened to be his drinking buddy outside the office. I swallowed the disappointment, but the taste was bitter. I thought maybe I just needed to prove myself harder, but soon I realized the problem wasn't my work. The problem was him. He started undermining me. At first, it was subtle. He left me out of important meetings. He reassigned my clients without explanation. He made me redo reports that were perfectly fine the first time. Then it escalated. He accused me of missing deadlines I had already met. He blamed me for mistakes that were his. He shouted at me in front of my colleagues, making me look incompetent. And when I tried to defend myself, he twisted my words into arrogance or insubordination. The final blow came when he accused me of misconduct. He fabricated emails, edited documents, and presented them to HR as proof that I had mishandled confidential data. It was a lie, but it was enough to stain my name. HR launched an investigation, and while nothing conclusive was found, the damage was done. My reputation was in question. Clients pulled back, colleagues avoided me, promotions were no longer even a possibility. That was when I realized he wasn't just trying to hold me back, he was trying to erase me. I left the company shortly after, but I didn't leave in defeat. I left with a plan. For months, I gathered everything I could about him. Not gossip, not petty complaints, but evidence. I knew he cut corners with contracts. I knew he siphoned company funds into personal accounts. I knew he covered up safety violations to save money. I had watched him brag about skirting regulations and laugh about how no one ever caught him. He thought he was untouchable. So I started small. I reconnected with old colleagues who had left under suspicious circumstances. I asked questions, listened, and documented everything. I spoke to clients who had been burned by his dishonesty. I dug through public records, finding lawsuits quietly settled out of court. Piece by piece, I built a picture of a man who was not just cruel, but corrupt. The real turning point came when I discovered his side business. He had set up a shell company under his brother's name, funneling contracts through it so he could skim profits. It was fraud, plain and simple, and it was the kind of thing that could not only end his career but also land him in prison. I could have gone straight to the authorities then, but that would have been too easy. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he had done to me. I wanted him to squirm, to panic, to watch everything he built collapse around him. So I leaked pieces of information, carefully timed, to the right people. A client here, a regulator there, a journalist with a sharp nose for corporate corruption. I made sure each discovery led to another, like a trail of breadcrumbs he could not cover fast enough. His friends began to distance themselves. His allies grew suspicious. The company's board started asking questions. Meanwhile, I stayed in the shadows. I built my own career elsewhere, using my skills where they were valued. My life moved forward while his began to unravel. The first public crack appeared when an article exposed his fraudulent contracts. He called it a misunderstanding, a clerical error, but no one believed him. Then came the audit, uncovering financial discrepancies too large to ignore. Then the whistleblower reports about safety violations, which triggered government fines. Within a year, he was suspended. Within 2, he was fired. And not just quietly dismissed, but dragged through the mud in headlines and court documents. His name became synonymous with scandal. No company would touch him. No client would trust him. The man who once stood in his corner office, barking orders and tearing people down for sport, now sat in courtrooms with a lawyer whispering in his ear. His wealth drained into legal fees, his reputation shattered beyond repair. And me, I thrived. I found a company that valued integrity and results. I rose through the ranks, not because I played politics, but because I proved myself. I built a team that respected me. I rebuilt my life, piece by piece, stronger than before. Sometimes, late at night, I think about those years under him. The humiliation, the betrayal, the sleepless nights wondering if I was crazy for holding on. Then I remember the look on his face in that courtroom, pale and hollow, realizing the walls had finally closed in. That look was worth every patient hour I waited, every careful move I made. He tried to ruin me. Instead, he ruined himself. I just gave the truth a little push. Revenge does not always come in fire and fury. Sometimes it comes in silence, in patience, in letting a man's own sins consume him. That was my revenge. Cold, careful, complete, and I would not change a thing.